Hi there, and here we have a village in Minecraft, and I'm going to upload an earlier video sort of after this one when I try to blow the village up. And I put an extremely large amount of TNT in, and it just created a big hole. So what I've done is this huge hole is now going to be filled up with TNT. What I've done is I've flown inside, and there were quite a few tunnels, so I've gone into these tunnels, got to the far end, and I've just backed up and filled it all up with TNT. And then there's quite big sort of areas, sort of caverns, and I've gone into them, and I've pretty much filled up most of them with TNT as well. So now at the stage where I've just got this huge hole in the ground, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of face off all of the waterfalls and coat the inside with TNT. And you can see a bit later on, just an extremely large amount of TNT has gone down. I don't know how many thousand, I wasn't counting, but there's absolutely a huge amount. And I shied away from actually filling the whole hole up with TNT because it was just going to blow my CPU on the computer. And so what I've actually done is I've created this fuse down the centre, which is 3 by 3, and I'm going to put a cap on the top of obsidian. And the idea there is that's going to contain the blast, and it's going to come out. There's just a slight gap between a cap and the ground level, so that's going to direct the blast out the sides. So you can see a bit further along, we've got the top of the fuse there, and then that's going to go down, and all the TNTs are then going to shoot out from the fuse into the sides. And in the base I put quite a thickness of TNT down there, quite a few layers of TNT. And so I don't know how many there are, sort of 2,000 or 3,000 TNTs here. So here we are, and this is what the cap looks like. Notice at this stage the cap is a lot bigger than the hole. We'll come back to that a bit later. And I've left a little gap in here so that we can just have a last look around. So this is about, you can see all the TNT that's in there. And what we're going to do is fly out there, and we're going to get this baby launched, and we're going to see what's happened. So the idea is to try and demolish the village. And here we go, like this, and come back. And I was expecting my CPU, the central processing unit on the computer, to completely throw a wobbly, but whilst everything's slowing down quite a bit, you can see quite a lot of TNT's been thrown out. Some of it's not lit, some of it is lit. And of course, wherever it lands, it's going to start causing a lot of mayhem. So things start slowing down quite a bit. The whole thing's having a bit of a problem sort of catching up. So we can see we've got quite a bit of sort of shrapnel coming out, and what happened is it'll get through this stage and then it'll draw in the new ground level on what's happened. But what did happen after quite a long time was that there was a crash, and I had to sort of reboot Minecraft, but it did remember where it got to, so we'll see that in a second. There we go, so I've rebooted it, and the explosions are still going on, and it's sort of trying to sort of draw the ground level again, but then it crashed. And so here we go, we've rebooted again. It's actually a memory problem. I was quite surprised the graphics card and the CPU survived, but it was actually out of memory that was causing the problems. So here we are, we got past the worst of it. Things are starting to sort of be drawn in. It's an awful lot of bits and pieces getting sort of thrown out still. But we'll soon see that the explosions will sort of die down, subside. An awful lot of TNT going straight through me there. A lot of TNT being thrown out. A huge amount of explosions. I was slightly interested in why I could only see part of this obsidian slab. So in a minute I'm going to start moving forward. And it was a simple case of the graphics processor couldn't keep up really, so it only sort of partly drawn everything in. So there we are, things are starting to calm down a bit now, and then what will happen is the graphics card will now catch up, the computer will work out what part of the land is left, and it'll start drawing it in quite quickly now because all the explosions are finished. So there was the original obsidian cap, and we can see that this hole in the ground is now much larger than that cap, absolutely huge. There's still some of the village there, which is amazing. I was quite surprised. It has actually caused a really deep, wide hole rather than blasting out the sides and demolishing everything around it. So we're going to fly in, which is a lot easier than before. Somehow this water is sort of flowing down from sort of the top, but anyway, you can see it's an awful lot deeper than it was before. Bit of experience lying around. Have a quick look for that. I think I'll go down after this now just to sort of try and collect it. But it's absolutely huge cavern, so I'm not going to try and fill this one up. There we go, and now I'm going to fly up and have one more look around at the sort of overall site just to get an idea of the size of this hole. You can see it's just so much bigger than this slab now. Hey look, there's a villager! A villager survived! Yay! Yay! Excellent. So it wasn't as damaging as I thought, really. They could rebuild that, couldn't they?